Even though you're surrounded by hundreds of people, you still can feel lonely. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to my first ever podcast. Nothing but so much of love to you all. So, those who are wondering why podcast, well, I always wanted to motivate people and give them a different view of life. What does life mean to you? So, recently I got a bunch of friends to tell me what life meant to them. The answers I got were quite unique though. The video has been posted on my Instagram. Do check it out. And my Instagram page is barfigas6.ie. BARFIGAS 6.ie. I asked my friend's father, Mr. Vicky, what does life mean to him? His answer was, for me, my life is about my family, my 2 kids, and my wife. I'll do whatever I can in my power to make sure they have a brighter future and are happy. We all have our own version of what life means to us. Do you all know what an orphanage means? Well, according to Google, it means a residential institution for the care and education of orphans. But do you know the other meaning of orphanage? In life, you get what you want, but orphans get what others don't want. Don't attack me on this. Do we really purchase clothes for those orphans, kids, and give them, or do we send them the clothes that we don't want anymore? For these kids, life is about survival. We never know what goes behind those closed doors. A prime minister, a lecturer, a doctor, an engineer, or even a local government authority might be among those orphans. So, for these kids, life is about survival. Let's look at a kid who goes to university. For him or her life might be about graduating, taking that graduation picture with his or her parents so they can finally put a smile on their face. We all have our own goals and dreams. It's not wrong to spend your time working on it. But what's life? There's a famous quote that says, you only die once, you live every day. We are all so caught up with work and personal issues that we forget what life is. Life is temporary. You might be a Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, or an atheist. Whatever belief you have in is a different issue. But life now is temporary. You don't know when is your last breath would be. Let's assume we die and your soul is still there. What do you think you would feel? Would you feel that your life was full of regrets? Or would you be happy by the way you actually lived? Think about it. What have we done so different? Did we make any difference in anyone's life? I mean, look at people like Mother Teresa. They dedicated their whole life for humanity. And what are we doing? Sharing posts on Facebook, forwarding it on WhatsApp. Have you ever stood up for something that you believe in? We are so emotional when we see things like rape, violence, racism, discrimination. But do we actually do anything about it? No. I'm not asking you to stop working and dedicating your life for humanity, but instead, I'm asking you to evaluate your life. Deep down, we all want to make a difference, but we just don't take the first step. We won't admit it, but the sad truth is we are scared for a change. How many of you actually know your neighbor? I grew up in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. When I grew up, we literally knew everyone in the building. Morning about 7 a.m., everyone will be rushing to work. My neighbor was Uncle Sam. I would see him every morning, and he would be like, "Good morning. Aren't you late for school?" And I would be like, "Yes, uncle, the usual." How many of us actually do that right now? I mean, we don't even know our neighbors anymore. Do we lose anything by smiling at them and saying good morning? Let's take the lift for example. After a bad day at work, you get into the lift and someone smiles at you and you just don't care. We need to bring back humanity and interaction among people back. That is life. Let's talk about relations. We spend hours talking to our girlfriends, boyfriends, but when your mom or dad calls you, you remember all the work you have and you don't call them. I mean, it's a good thing you're spending time with your loved ones, but aren't your parents loved ones too? We buy things we don't need with the money we don't have to impress the people we don't like. Who predicted COVID 19 or Corona would make us realize this? The world is shutting down. Businesses are going at loss. Unemployment rate is increasing. People are losing money. Governments are taking the hit. Young kids are dying because of the virus. Life is too short for anything. We are supposed to chase our dreams, but that's not the only thing that we need. You got to check up on your loved ones, your siblings, your parents, your friends, anyone who means something to you in life. Because you never know when is your last breath or theirs. If it's your birthday and someone surprises you on that day, celebrate it. Don't be busy taking stories to fit into your Instagram so that your followers can see. Nobody really cares. If it's a family dinner, have a good time with your loved ones. Don't be busy taking out your phone and taking stories to show your followers you love your family. Nobody really cares. If it's Mother's Day or Valentine's, do something for your loved ones instead of wishing them on social media where they won't even see it. If your better half proposes you, say yes full-heartedly instead of thinking on one side about whom to give your phone to take stories to post to your followers who are going to either tap away or get jealous at you. We often want to live for the outside world, but we forget the ones that actually took the effort and initiated to make us happy, who are right beside us at that very moment. I would like to share a small story of a good friend of mine. Wouldn't want to share his name for privacy reasons, but we grew up together, the same neighborhood. That's how I knew him. He was 4 years older than me, more of a good brother than a friend. As we grew up, he got diverted. He moved into things like drugs. He did what he had to do, but things changed when he met this girl who he fell in love with. He ran away with the girl because the families didn't accept. But once he got married to her, things changed. He started working hard. He moved to another country where he set up a small shop, which later grew. One shop became two, two became four, and four became eight. Everything was going fine till last year, October 2019, where he met with an accident. He was fine, but he lost his wife. Me personally, I haven't been in touch with him for a while, and I couldn't text him out of the blue. So I was checking on my mutual friends, asking if he was okay. Few weeks back, I texted him. I finally had the guts to text him, and we had a decent conversation. And then I asked him if he was going to go back to drugs ever again. And what he replied, that kind of shook me. He told me that I have a life and I have a purpose to live for, so I'm never going back to drugs ever again. So, I'm going to end this podcast with a simple question. If you died today, would you be satisfied with the last conversation you had with someone you love? Remember, everyone has their own idea of what life means. Live your life, not somebody else. If you did enjoy this podcast, do share it with your friends and family. I'll be posting up more podcasts soon. Do follow me on my Instagram. Much love. Thank you. Thank you once again.